597 and 955, which needs to be looked at. Okay, so this is a lot of variance that you can see. Another measure of variance you can look at is IQR. You can see IQR 300 here.
Right.
Can you see IQR range 300?
Yes.
IQR is basically the difference between Q3 and Q1. So Q3 minus Q1 is the IQR. IQR helps you to identify what is the total amount of variance which is there in this particular figure. So 300 is the number which is given here. Okay. So if you want to interpret this example of AHT, it basically first of all tells you how your data is segregated. First 25%, second 25%, the remaining 25%, and the last 25%. Okay. So the average is 437, and between 597 and above, the last 25% lies in. So that's what your focus is. We can do box plot group wise also, wherein you have different groups and you want to see which of the group needs to be more focused at. So for that, you go to graph, you go to box plot, you mention on with groups. Okay. So earlier you were looking at the entire HT. Now you can look at for groups. So in graph variables, put HT. In categorical, you want to look for gender wise. Let's say we look for gender. So I mentioned gender here. I click on OK. Now yeah, I would see two box plots. One is for female and another is for male. Now I'll be able to compare of them that which of these two groups is having more variance. And if yes, where we need to focus on. So that criteria is to be checked with the help of IQR. The higher the IQR is, it is not better for the process. The lower the IQR is, the better it is.
Simran,
Somebody has a question?
5 asterisks on top of the male chart.
Yeah, I was also about to ask that. What is that?
Is it like conditions applied?
So no, that is a special cause. That is a special cause. So it is showing the whiskers there. Okay, that it's an outlier.
Okay.
Oh, so that's one single value that is lying over there. That is what you mean to say.
Yeah, so this is an outlier. This says that if you look at the overall spread also, okay, and this says that these are the outliers. Although if I compare male with female, the IQR of male is 239 and IQR of female is 311. So overall, if I look at it, I would find that the female's performance has more variance. Okay. But in the male's performance, we would find that there are some of the data points which are very extreme, which are showing outliers. And it also mentioned that on the row 85, it clearly articulates that on row 85, that there is a HT of 955, which I think is the highest. And here in this case, the highest HT has gone till 924. So box plot has not identified 924 as a outlier, but yes, it has calculated 955 as an outlier. So this helps me to identify that which of these two groups has more variance, and if yes, that what is that issue that we need to work upon. So here the median is 428, which means 50% of the people are above 428 and 50% of the people are less than 428. But if from 75% to 100%, that means my last quartile, the bottom quartile, is between 553 to
955. 955.
Yeah, 955. And here it is from
603 to 9.
Yeah, it is from 603 to. So this is what box plot tells me. It tells me that which of the quartiles that we need to focus on and what are the IQRs that we have. So that's what we can help. We can interpret with the help of box plot. You can use box plot for multiple groups as well. So when you have managers, you can mention 3 and you'll be able to see the variance out of them. So just remember, this is to be used only when your data is continuous. It cannot be used on a discrete. Always on a continuous sort. Okay, so I would share the table of content with all of you. Okay. And apart from that, if you have any questions, we can have a class which could be on the doubt sessions wherein we can look for all the questions. But I would recommend you to refer the material that I've sent across, the recordings that we have there on the LMS. But still, if you couldn't find any of the topics, we can have a class for sure wherein we discuss. And the topics, the question that you ask on the gauge RNR and the other example that you see there, I'll be looking at the examples from you.
One more question, Shiban. The CPK requirement is 1.33 minimum it should be. But in some of the organizations, they measure in ZST and they say it should not be less than 3. So is there any conversion for CPK to ZST?
So CPK, when we calculate at a short term ST, okay, then it is 1.33. And in some of the organization, they consider as a 3 because it again depends upon the type of industry they are referring to. So as an industry standard, it is 1.3. But there could be some of the industries where they want the design to be very, very accurate to ensure that there shouldn't be any special causes variation. There they can use till 5 also. Therein they expect the CPK has to be 5. So just remember what is CPK. Okay, then you will be able to answer this question. CPK is the process performance index and CP is the process potential index. So process performance index says that how much my process is currently performing at. This is the process capability that is performing. So some organizations say, okay, if it is 3, then also I would say my design is good to go. But some says that if it's 1.3, I'm okay with it. So it's all depend upon the discretion that some of the organization takes it. Similarly, confidence level of 95% and confidence level of 99%. That's how people look at. So there might be many more questions. More you study in detail, more examples that you come across, more practices you do, the more questions that you would be coming up with. So by that, you'd be able to do that. So one important thing that I want to tell you is that all these questions which you are practicing it through sample tests, which you might be doing it for any other test which is not from Henry Harvin, you would find some of the questions using a different terminology, but the message remains the same. Okay, so don't just get confused with it. Make sure the topics that you've covered, you have the thorough understanding out of it. So for example, if you want to train somebody, you should be able to train it that way. So that's what your objective should be, so that your concepts are clear. So there is one topic which is design of experiment that I was able to do. So if you have 10 minutes that I can do it right now also, or if you want, we can do it later. So it's all up to you. I was able to figure that out, the issue that we're facing.
We can complete that. If it is not going to take, yeah.
Yeah, it depends upon the questions that you have, but I can do it I have already done it. Just let me show it to you. It was not the Q plot, you all were right. It was
Multi-level factorial.
So it was, just to show it to you.
Multi-level.
Again, it was a factorial plot that we had to click on, not on the Q plot. So it will get enable, and then this graph would come. Okay. Everything remains the same. Then this graph would come. Then it says that so this time I've taken, so what I've done is I've taken 3 factors, okay, and 3 levels. The factors were factory, manager, and shift, and levels were in factory I've taken ABC, in manager I've taken Mohit, Rajiv, Simar, and in shift I've taken evening, morning, and night. Okay, so these were the different levels that I've taken. So instead of Q plot, just a minute, sorry. Instead of Q plot, I clicked on the factorial plot. So this is how this figure comes up, and this shows that which of these combinations that we should go for. Okay. So here there is a tie. If you see, it says for factory A, the mean is 11. The factory B, the mean is 11. Okay. But for factory C, the mean is 10.889. So this is the lowest productivity. So I cannot go for it. I can go for either A and B. Similarly, if I look for the managers, Mohit and Rajiv, their average mean is 11 and Rajiv is 11. So we will not conclude Simmer. But in terms of shift, it is a nice shift where we see the maximum productivity. The mean is 11.22. Okay. So now for coming up with the right design, okay. So we have to conclude between A and B and Mohit and Rajiv to ensure that we come up with a design for the night shift. So usually you won't find a tie here, but in case there is a tie, it is on the discretion of the management.
Okay, so we don't go separately again and try to figure out among these two with some kind of analysis. It can be just discussed, and as per the business decision, it can go ahead.
So we have already done one of the replicas as well. So there were 27 runs because there were 3 levels and 3 factors. So we've already done 54 here. We have done the replica also. And basis the replica also, we found that there is a tie. So therefore, one thing is for sure that we will come up with a night shift. Evening and morning will not produce. And one thing is for sure that we will not take Simmer and C. But yes, between A and B and Mohit and Rajiv, that is a discussion that which needs to be done with the management. So that's
okay.
So when you have more than factors, then in that case, you can go for the factorial plot. It's an option here.
Okay.
That's DOE factorial. This will get enabled. You try it and just show me the results maybe tomorrow or maybe tomorrow evening or morning. And then if you come up with something else, we can discuss that also.
So 2016 Minitab will have these features, right?
I mean, I'll have to check. I've not been using, I've not done an experiment in 2016. I did it in 2018. So I'm not too sure about it, but it should be there. It should be there.
Okay.
Maybe the options are different, but I just check it. And if there is any trouble, just let me know. If you're not
sure. Sure. Thanks.
Not a problem. So I think we have over exceeded the time. Sorry for this, but it was really pleasure interacting with all of you. I have learned a lot from you all. There were a few times where I got stuck. You all have tried to help me, like today and some days before also. So it was not like that I was training. It was like I'm also getting trained on some of the new things that you asked. I think those were really good, really good, which has helped me to learn few things. Likewise, today's question was whether the range is it for the consecutive it's for. So those are the things which, I have also learned during this training, and which I really glad that you all have thought from that point of view. So thank you so much to all of you. You've been really cooperative during the network issues time, between the time when we were not able to come up with anything. So thank you so much for your time and patience.
Thank you, Simmer. It was an amazing
Thank you, Simmerpreet.
session.